Okay, we end turn.
Casting the runes is thirsty work. Let's drink and talk.
Please tell me that you guys don't want to. Yeah, you want a defensive alliance. That's cute. Okay, Grimgore hasn't come to beat us up just yet. And neither have the dinosaurs.
Be sure to put your oath gold to good use, my lord. The forge allows you to craft unique and powerful equipment or mighty runes to bestow upon your most favored warriors.
That's nice. The dwarfs rightfully considered themselves the War of Vengeance, as their foes had departed, driven from the buried continent. This hard-won situation should have ensured dwarfen dominion over the Old World for ages to come. However, the fates proved unkind. The long conflict had bled their empire white, and the dwarfs found their vigor expended. Before they'd even begun to recover, the realm was beset by natural disasters that unleashed destruction unparalleled since the coming of chaos. The unquestionable end of the Golden Age came amid a devastating series of earthquakes that shook the length of the world's edge mountains. These, in turn, were soon followed by volcanic eruptions of monumental proportions. During the War of Vengeance, the elves had launched several attempts to batter the great carracks of the dwarfs. But their feeble siegecraft had never seriously damaged any of the mountain strongholds. Yet what century of warfare had had to do, the earthquakes achieved in mere moments. Every single settlement of the dwarfs suffered calamity, as walls collapsed, mine workings were shattered, and lower levels were flooded by subterranean rivers. The mountains themselves shuddered, in some cases breaking apart to send avalanches and sweeping waves that crushed everything in the valleys below. Lava poured into cavernous vaults, and the whole of the everlasting realm was thrown into disarray. As devastating as the earthquakes were, other menaces were lurking in wait, sinister forces that had been multiplying in secret, while the attention of the dwarfs was elsewhere. The attacks began before the last of the aftershocks had finished. Enemies infiltrated through unguarded tunnels, overwhelmed outposts with surprise attacks, and swept out of darksome valley forests in numbers untold. Previously, the mountain fortresses of the dwarfs had proven impervious regardless of an invader's numbers, but that was no longer the case. Defensive walls had been toppled, and lower levels hopelessly compromised by innumerable pits and gaping chasms. Routes into the mountain kingdom now lay unguarded, as the former bastions carved into the rock face were but piles of broken stones. Rune-covered gates that could withstand the titanic blows of a giant now hung off their hinges or lay split in twain. Upon scenting weakness, armies hungry for plunder appeared like wolves at the door. There we go. Now we're going to have ourselves some research rate. Come from trade, public order, income from mines, additional untainted faction-wide, additional tax, even more untainted.
Iron will. Tried and tested.
That place can try to get itself a little bit of growth. Yeah, now 54 or 46 growth, that ain't bad. Especially since we need to actually institute that properly.
Rune Lord.
Same here as well.
wisdom of the layer.
Let's go and assign skill points. It's that guy, it's that guy. Like that.
It is time.
If you would be so kind as to actually get there. Yes, this one will not be difficult, but we will be fighting it just to keep our casualties down to a minimum. I think I'm going to give this guy that dinosaur we can recruit. Just want to make sure our economy stabilizes a bit first. Okay. So these guys are kind of short-ranged, and I don't actually know. Yeah, so these things are great at sniping out large targets now. But there are no large targets in this army. Yeah, that's a hill there. We want to put our guys over on. Excuse me, you want to work correctly? Thank you.
Fire on the axe! War on us! Dwarf warriors!
This can sit like that, basically. He can go up front, and this guy can stand at front and eat most of the fire.
Bring death on him!
And these guys can basically go one into each.
Attack the axe! It's your scum! Finest!
Wow, yeah, those things are just not great at taking out infantry.
Band as a throng! Move to attack!
You guys gonna throw something at any fucking moment? Any time. You're on fire at will. I've given you a throw order.
It is a reckoning! Bring everything!
Well, that was weird. Definitely not an army designed to take on those guys at all. There's so much armor piercing in it. Yeah, that's what these guys are. Quarrelers and quarrelers with great weapons. So that if your guys have to ditch their crossbows for whatever reason, they have an AP weapon in melee, which isn't a bad idea for dwarfs, because they tend to be pretty high quality infantry as is. They could probably go toe to toe with many other races, like just basic troops, especially if they have an AP weapon. But they're not going to be able to go toe to toe with orcs. Like, orcs are brawlers. So they can't really fulfill that function very well. And yeah, looking at this, like those guys got into melee combat and did pretty well for themselves, considering they were outnumbered and had been shot, not to pieces, but had been softened up a little bit on the way in. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, those guys got barely any value when they were able to shoot for quite a while. Just occupy. Oh, now we have ogre mercenaries. That's something with this new update. With a great crump, 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 a large group of ogres has appeared nearby. Though generally expected to attack and plunder any settlement they come across, it seems they do not seek a fight, at least not immediately, but are looking for the most lucrative call to battle they can find. Wholly untroubled by morality or questions of good and evil, ogre mercenaries could be a great boost to your battle ranks should you choose to hire them.
Ogres, my lord. These brutish nomads are as strong as they are stupid, but do not underestimate them. They are hardy warriors and will cannibalize any foe that dares to cross them.
Hmm.
Time for a reckoning.
Yes, they're going to be stuck there for a moment. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do anything there. Well, actually, yeah, we're already going to get a population surplus. We might as well do that so we can construct better things next turn. Or construct more cheaply next turn. That'll be due to conquest. Populace, confederation is going to remain for another 3 turns.
Confederate Ironbrow. Rune Lord of Caracastle.
I have an idea for how to get those guys.
What's up? Master Rune Lord. Tried and tested. Quietly does it.
But we'll start off with this. And see if they take that bait.
Lord of Clan Morgrim. Master of Runecraft.
9 turns until anything can happen there. That'll be less once that takes over, though.
My axe thirsts for war.
And we do want to be able to do that next turn.
Thirsts for war.
Yeah, we're going to have to start paring this down to something that makes a bit more sense. So we'll take... No, I think we need to hold on to our money for the moment.
Let us begin.
Yeah. And turn. Yeah, so that guy tried to decrease our garrison, which did not work. And from the Karazankor, death before dishonor. Filled with pride, Snorri watched the fog roll back from the mountain pass. This would be his first time standing shoulder to shoulder with his clan, an honor he had waited for his whole life. The first of the hunched creatures appeared out of the gloom, and Snorri felt his deep-seated hatred growing. Then a sudden gust of wind cleared the valley, and the full scale of the greenskin horde was revealed. There were thousands of them. Snorri's hands grew clammy, his knees weak. Throat-clearing splutters broke the stillness as Longbeards, the most veteran warriors, took their place in the throng's battle line. Soon gruff voices began shouting, loudly condemning their foe. "Look at 'em. Not nearly enough, are there? I've seen bigger tusks on cave squirrels. This better be worth putting me mail on for. You there, beardling, keep your shield high." Snorri was sure that last comment was directed towards him, although he was positive his shield was perfectly positioned. He knew the veterans would complain about anything. Fear forgotten, Snorri swore a silent oath that he would not give them any reason to grumble. Jeez, really? First contact with the elves. It was at the height of the great catastrophe that the dwarves first made contact with the elves. A fleet of elven warships, captained by Kalidor Dragon-Tamer, had been blown off course after a sea battle with a Chaos fleet. Kalidor was a great mage, and he searched the coasts of the Old World, hoping to find clues to the source of the chaos that was destroying the world. Instead, Kalidor encountered a dwarf army led by Grimnir himself, for they had pursued the remnants of a demon army and sought to slay the last of them. It was a pivotal moment in history, as one of the greatest and most subtle high elf mages of all time met the brutal and mighty incarnate warrior, god of the dwarfs. What Grimnir made of the tall and haughty elf mage is not recorded, nor is what Kalidor thought of the tattooed dwarf warlord. Both realized that they were not enemies, and the matter was settled when a force of beastmen attacked. After a hastily agreed alliance, the foe was shattered by the combined might of Grimnir's axes and Kalidor's spells. From Kalidor, the dwarfs learned of the great Phoenix King and his struggle to free the distant land of Ulthuan from the grip of chaos. From Grimnir, Kalidor learned of the storm that burst from the north that had preceded the demons. The wise mage concluded that a chaos gate had opened in the utmost north, a doorway between their world and the unimaginable realm of chaos. With this information and their newly formed alliance, Kalidor departed, in all likelihood already formulating the plan that would lead to the creation of a mighty vortex to suck the unleashed chaos power out of the world. Upon Kalidor's departure, Grimnir presented him with a runic amulet of sovereign protective power. In return, Kalidor gifted the dwarf with the Crystal of Fire, an artifact that is kept to this day in the great vault of Karaz-Akarak. And finally, Karak Zorn, which is not any of these cities. Is Karak Zorn down here? There is Karak Zorn. Karak Zorn is a legendary dwarfhold built thousands of years ago at the extreme southern tip of the World's Edge Mountains. It is said to be the birthplace of the dwarf people. All contact with the stronghold was lost centuries ago, and some scholars question if the hold ever existed at all until now. Dwarfs of Ironbrow was the first dwarf in living history to behold its massive ivory gates. The tales claiming the hold was carved from a mountain of gold proved to be exaggerated, but not by much. Its halls are etched with hundreds of elaborate inlaid gold and silver carvings, depicting the birth of the dwarven race by the ancestor gods. Its massive gates of ivory are bound with red copper, and rubies and diamonds are so common they are used as minor units of currency instead of small coins. Thousands of dwarfs have begun the pilgrimage to this sacred hold. But much to the chagrin of the dwarfs who live there, who barely recognize their former kin as one of their own. Historians are eager to converse with the scholars of Carrickzorn, for there is much lost history that both sides can explore. This is perhaps one of the most exciting events in living memory, and a clear sign that the time of the dwarfs has come again.
Let us begin.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, we definitely want that. And we are not going to be able to do that. I'd say we wait and mess that up.
One rug. For the wisdom of Valea.
Cautiously entering the ogre mercenaries' camp, you realize it is not just a single ogre tribe that have arrived, but 3 separate tyrants, marching their armies as one. Furthermore, it appears that each tribe has its own combat preference, the likely reason they have grouped together. A reasonable bribe should be enough to convince one of the 3 tyrants to lend you some of the tribe's considerable fat-laden muscle. Oh, and it does, outline what each of them are. And yeah, this is the thing that I believe that I want. I can get cavalry now. As dwarfs, that's huge. Some actual mobility. So the horned guts. The right of ogrehood to break more fangs is vehemently observed by the Horned Guts tribe, masters of the heaviest shock cavalry in the world. The Head Eaters. All ogres excel in the use of bludgeoning weapons, but the Head Eaters are particularly proficient at it. So you can get some anti-infantry guys, and an anti-large guy. And the Death Belchers tribe, where you can get just basic units. And some pistol infantry. The Death Belchers have learned that only the foolhardy would dare fight ogres up close, and so have honed their pistol skills.
Ready.
Yeah, so they are now in there. 1,200 and only 318, jeez.
Summon me if you dare. By the grudge bearers.
And then if you guys could get yourselves back in place there.
The axe thirsts for war.
Yeah, he's just still going to be sitting there. He's still going to be sitting there.
What?
Although, come to think of it, I think I can disband you. You're not going to be doing anything there, right? Public order, construction.
Armed and ready.
No, you aren't going to be doing anything there for a while. I'll hire you back when I need you. You will be doing something there, like, immediately next turn.
Let us begin. Summon me if you dare.
Yeah, so you can hire him back, and he can be bait.
By Grumby. I'll tan your scaly eye.
So many Saurus. These guys are pretty tough. Okay, let's see what happens.
You reflect the fate of all who tread dark paths.
Oh, I can trade with you? Absolutely. Well, that'll be where our money starts coming in. And that would be where the greenskins start attacking us at Black Iron Mine. Oh, they're raiding us. Shit. That one's going in the book.
The runes are struck.
Yeah, like they're raiding us in some out-of-the-way area that we ain't ever gonna catch up to.
I'd rather eat a squeak.
Hey, what do you have in your army? Not much, I don't think.
Time for a reckoning. Onward.
Okay, but yeah, we'll take that on for 3,000.
My axe thirsts for war. Move. Shoulder axes, lads. We move. Run, Riki. Quick about it. Vengeance awaits. Yes.
What does that do again? Local recruitment capacity, recruit rank +2, recruitment cost, upkeep, Lord recruit rank. Hit me up with that first. Wow, that's a terrible garrison. It's only 7 guys.
wisdom of Valea.
Everywhere is when you need someone.
Let us begin.
Okay, can we get that guy a set up armor or something? Oh, those kind of suck. How about a talisman? Attack, defense, armor piercing. That one might not actually be bad. He's already got magical attacks. Well, yeah, he might as well have that, but... So what kind of character runes can we get ourselves? Ward save, bonus versus large. AP. Melee attack and AP damage.
The axe thirsts for war.
That would put it up to an even split. Yeah, sure. Imagine we're going to get most of these built at some point anyway. Actually, I think we'll go with that one instead. Hi, Sadie. Yeah, so he can take those, and that should turn him into a bit more of a beast. And he might as well get that. And if we're going to give him that, we might as well... Explosive damage, it reduces enemy leadership, or increases armor piercing and penetration. So around self. Okay, yeah, so it's like a demo charge on your own artillery. I'm thinking no. No, I'll just get these things. Okay. That, I think, is where I'm going to call this for now.